Joining us is Democratic Senator Chris Coons of Delaware, who serves on the Foreign Relations and Judiciary Committees, among others. Senator, thank you very much for being with us this morning. Did you get any sleep?
Not very much. Frankly, as I was reviewing the tragic and difficult events of yesterday, after I finally got to bed, I couldn't get to sleep as I kept looking through images of what happened here in the United States Capitol yesterday and the responses of other nations, other leaders around the world, expressing their shock, their alarm. This was a disgraceful and dark day for American democracy. I am optimistic because 13 days from now, I am confident Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will be sworn in as president and vice president. But these next 13 days are dangerous for our democracy.
Sir, you're a member of the Foreign Relations Committee. So as we think about security and what was breached yesterday, when we saw those people make their way in, sit in front of computers that were open, what did yesterday do in terms of showing our vulnerabilities to our adversaries around the world?
Well, after 9/11, the Congress invested huge amounts of money on securing the Capitol. And all the folks who work with me, who work on my Senate staff, we just had a conversation. They felt like they were coming to work in one of the most secure places in our country. Yesterday revealed that a spirited group of protesters who become rioters can simply smash their way into the Capitol and cavort around, break into offices, look at computers, rifle through papers. This is the first time since the War of 1812 that the Capitol building of the United States has been invaded and occupied. And the most concerning thing is not necessarily the failure of planning or the failure of response. It's that our current president incited this action. This is a fire that he first lit in Charlottesville and that has only been building in intensity in the last few years and will only be solved by the removal of President Trump.
Senator, do you believe, would you support a congressional investigation into what is largely being described as the security failures yesterday?
Yes.
Do you have plans for that to happen? Are you hearing about such an investigation? Which committees might run such an investigation, and how long would it take?
Well, yesterday, most of the Senate, about 80 of us, were together for 4 or 5 hours after we'd been evacuated from the Senate chamber and while we were waiting for law enforcement to retake control of the Capitol. We had quite a few conversations about how yesterday's events revealed some of the security flaws in our systems here. I think it's urgent that we take this as a matter right at the very beginning of this Congress to look at. There is both an appropriations subcommittee that's responsible for the legislative branch and Homeland Security and Judiciary, which are committees of the Senate. All of those groups can and should immediately look into what happened, what were the failures of planning, how do we make sure this doesn't happen again.
All that money that went into making the building so secure, it wasn't like yesterday it was a super sophisticated operation. They basically just stormed the building and were walking around like they were tourists. So where did all of that money go?
Well, some of it went to preparations for an outside attack. Remember, in 9/11, it was expected that there might have been an airplane flown into the building. So there was a construction of essentially a bunker below the grass, the yard in front of the Capitol for hundreds of millions of dollars. There are other security systems in the building in the event of something like the anthrax attack that happened after 9/11. But in terms of simply a robust police response to domestic protesters, that's something that clearly hasn't been fully thought through or prepared for with the right balance of resources and force to keep the Capitol and the Congress safe.
Senator, thank you so much for joining us. We are very glad to see you and your colleagues safe this morning. Senator Chris Coons.
Thank you.